Hello, Flight Sim fans, and welcome to the Practically Geek channel. In today's video, I've booked myself onto a flight from Manchester and travelled southeast over Europe to visit Naples Airport in Italy. This new payware add-on has been developed by RDPresets and is available to purchase directly from their website. I will leave a link for this airport in the description down below. If you do enjoy this video, give it a massive like and please consider subscribing to the Practically Geek channel for more flight simulator and aviation content just like this. Naples Airport, Lima Indigo Romeo November is located just over 4 miles northeast of the city centre and serves as a base for EasyJet, Ryanair, Wizz Air and Volotea. In 2019, the airport saw total passenger numbers exceed 10 million, which made it the fifth busiest airport in Italy. In 2020, however, that number dropped to just 2.7 million, a 74% decrease over the following year. As I do with all my airport reviews, I'm going to take you around the default scenery first to see how it looks without the add-on installed. Then we'll head back in to see the improvements RDPresets have made to this airport. Starting from above and looking over the airport, and yeah, it's not too bad. We have the correct layout for the aprons, taxiways and the displaced thresholds on runway 06 and 24. Buildings look to be in the correct position, albeit with some height differences to the real ones, and some smaller buildings seem to be missing, but overall a pretty fleshed out default airport. Something I'm not used to seeing while looking around an airport in default or add-on for that matter is the scenery around it looking true to life. World Update 9 brought us vast improvements to Italy, including photogrammetry data for Naples, meaning flights in and out of this airport look fantastic. That's all well and good, however, but for me, I'm experiencing this odd changing ground level around the edges of the airport near runway 24 and continuing along the perimeter. It makes taxiing out to the runway look absolutely awful. In fact, there are a few places around Naples Airport that get far too close to the photogrammetry buildings, making it hard to avoid them, even if you use the cockpit view exclusively. Interestingly, the Saitek facility, which is located slightly away from the airport perimeter, is actually photogrammetry and not a autogen building. To access the hangar, aircraft have to taxi over an active road just outside the airport. It will be interesting to see what RDPresets have done with this. The areas of the airport I do like in the default scenery are the auto-generated buildings for the terminal and control tower. Although they don't fully resemble the real ones, the shape and position closely match the real ones found at the airport. Just ignore the broken jet bridges. With all that being said, let's explore the latest RDPresets add-on for Naples Airport to see just how much they've improved this scenery. I will see you back in Italy in just a moment. Welcome back to Naples Airport here in sunny Italy. I'm back from my incredible helicopter tour of Mount Vesuvius, but it's now time to explore the RDPresets add-on and see what changes they have made to this scenery. Heading back above the airport, and it's looking like a pretty substantial upgrade. As we make our way over the terminal and main apron of the airport, you can see RDPresets have custom modelled every building at the airport. Ground markings and textures have been given a massive overhaul and look amazing. Missing buildings and structures have been added in, the most obvious being the engine testing bay on the north side of the airport. Thankfully, the horrible photogrammetry data around the perimeter of the airport has been removed, now making the ground flat, resembling how it looks in real life. RDPresets have interestingly been able to configure the satellite data to begin the photogrammetry further away from the airport. This is apparent over to the north, where you can see a clear divide between the autogen and photogrammetry buildings. This, in my opinion, was a great move. The team clearly identified aircraft would start and taxi near the perimeter, where those ugly melty buildings were. A real smart choice by RDPresets, and one I know people will appreciate when it comes to departing this airport. Speaking of the perimeter, we get a massive perimeter fence surrounding the airport. There's a nice variation too, like metal fencing, concrete walls, and a combination of the two. Let's start over on the east before making our way around to the main apron and terminal. On the way, we will stop by the northern apron to get a closer look at the details RDPresets have put into this scenery. Over to the east, we get a closer look at the brilliant ground texturing in this add-on. The faded tire marks and imperfections in the tarmac look amazing. So do the ground markings, which are much improved over the default ones. The Vulcan hangers look pretty good. There's a nice level of dirt on the walls, solar panels, and the custom sign just above the two yellow vans. Along the taxiway heading out to runway 24, there are a lot, and I mean a lot, of handcrafted buildings to really make this airport look like the real one. The fenced off areas further down only add to the realism with a great level of ground clutter and vehicles. On the north side of the airport, we have a fairly big collection of buildings to explore. There are multiple aprons, all textured to a great standard with a nice level of weathering and dirt. There's a lot of ground clutter on this apron, which I've noticed on Google Maps seems to be used for private and business jets. There does seem to be an issue with the apron lights, however. I think the default ones have been left in and conflict with the custom lights added in by RDPresets. That said, just behind those lights is what looks like an extension of that apron in construction. There's a ton of detail, including construction vehicles, lights, skips, and building materials, which adds further realism to this scenery. Heading along the taxiway, we find that missing quiet engine testing facility. Let me know down in the comments if that is actually the name given to this structure. I know the walls are essentially blast deflectors, but yeah, let me know in the comments if that is the name for this structure, a quiet engine testing facility. I really like the detail in this handcrafted structure. The support beams and signage look fantastic, with little scuffs and marks for added realism. Just behind that, we have the police air service hangar. The stone texturing on the building looks pretty good, and we do get the authentic sign just above the hangar doors. Further along the various aprons and taxiways, there are more well-crafted buildings, including these beautifully textured hangars with a great level of detail. I love the mixture of ground textures being used around the hangars, although I am seeing some flickering on the floor and more noticeably in the grass by the cluster of trees to the right. Out in front is the first of a few Atatech hangars, this one looking like the oldest of the bunch, with bits of rust and paint flaking off the support beams and Atatech sign. Once again, the ground clutter detailing is on point. The use of aircraft stairs, containers, and utility trucks makes the area around the hangar feel more alive. There's another fairly large hangar as we move along the apron. I can't find any information for it, but the sign displaying 5GMV does appear on it, as seen on trusty Google Maps. To the side of the hangar, we are getting more excellent ground clutter. I think details like this can really make an add-on airport feel more populated and more believable. I particularly like the covered walkway with the blue canopy running along it. At the edge of the airport boundary near runway 06, we get even more amazing attention to detail with a perimeter wall and metal fencing. The airport road network runs along this fence line onto the main apron, which can be seen coming into view on the right. The cargo area looks fantastic. There is an insane amount of clutter here. My favourites are the aircraft loaders, the custom fuel lorries, and the DHL trucks parked up waiting for their cargo. Before we get a closer look at the terminal building, just check out this multi-story car park. Okay, it does have the same pattern of generic Asobo car models on each level, but doesn't the custom sign on top look absolutely amazing? Landside has been given a nice little polish with ground textures, street lamps, cars, and custom bus models. The terminal, well, you only have to look at it to see just how detailed RDPresets have gone with it. I looked on Google Maps to see what this building looked like, and my initial thought was, no way have they modelled all the vents and units on the roof. Turns out I underestimated them. The roofing section looks just as good as it does in real life. The vents realistically reflecting the sun as we pass by them. The aircon units and the texturing on the green panels look really good, and the intricate work gone into the mesh fencing along the edge of the roof is just excellent. What makes this terminal stand out, however, is the custom jet bridges with the incredible sixth advertisements on them. I think they look absolutely stunning, and they are a welcome replacement to those broken aircraft bridges we saw in the default scenery. I think I've become somewhat of an interior snob while doing these videos. I always want to see if developers have modeled the inside of the buildings, but you know what? I really don't care with this airport. The exterior modeling is just beautiful. The black and yellow guardrails and the white stairways add so much depth to the outside of the terminal. It looks really amazing. Along the side of the terminal is two more Atatec hangars, the first of which completely dominating the terminal in terms of height. The handcrafted model has been done to a really high standard, with a large Atatec logo looking down over the apron. As mentioned before, there is a Atatec hangar located landside with a taxiway crossing an active road. As we move along the taxiway, it's a bit of a shame to see the blue gates separating the road from the airport haven't been included. I think RDPresets wants us to be able to freely taxi across this road without the need to animate any custom gates. Before we take a look at the control tower, there is one final apron close to where we started. Again, the ground textures used mimic the real ones, even down to these yellow looking cat eyes. Let me know down in the comments if these serve any purpose, as I was unable to find out any information on them. I believe this apron is actually used by the United States Navy, who are based at the airport. The handcrafted buildings certainly indicate the area has a military presence, with lots of radars and antennas scattered across the rooftops. The control tower has been modelled to replicate the real one, of course. It's not as impressive as the terminal building in my opinion, but it's still great to have the authentic tower here in the scenery. So we're back to where this journey started, and it's now time to see what RDPresets have done with the night lighting for this add-on. Roll back your watches and clocks to 1 AM and join me as we take a look at the night lighting at Naples Airport. And it's a great start. The Vulcan Air logo looks pretty good at night time. The open hangar just over to the right also looks good, with a small amount of light escaping through the hangar doors. Taking a look at the airports from above again, we can see RDPresets have done a very good job with the night lighting. All buildings have faked interior illumination to them, which looks great. The taxiway and runway lighting looks great, but I think the best part of the night lighting implementation is the way the aprons are lit up by the spotlights and open hangars. This is most noticeable on the north side of the airport near these hangars. The smaller curved apron by the construction site where the business and private jets park. The large apron besides the US Navy base. And by the main apron by the fantastic looking passenger terminal. A couple of other areas the night lighting looks great is at the multi-story car park. The custom sign on the roof looks fabulous, and those blue bubbles floating up the wall also look great. The large Atatec hangar is dazzling to say the least. The roof edge lighting is brilliant white, making the building look very modern. I'd love to know if this really does appear like this in real life, as I was unable to find out online. And finally, something we didn't see in the daytime but looks good at nighttime is the Vulcano Bruno. I think it's a hotel, but again, I was unable to confirm with an online search. Let me know down in the comments if I'm correct. Overall, the night lighting for RDPresets Naples Airport is a great improvement over the default scenery. The use of custom apron lights and better interior lighting effects on the buildings make it feel more realistic than before. For a better look at the changes RDPresets have made to Naples Airport, let's take a look at my split screen before and after presentation, which will show you the default scenery at the top and the Payware add-on at the bottom. Feel free to pause the video throughout to get a closer look at both sceneries side by side. Grab yourself a cup of coffee or tea, sit back and enjoy. Naples Airport is available now from the RDPresets website, priced at €19.99, making it roughly £17. You can also purchase it from flightsim.to, where I've noticed it comes in at £19.14, with the included 20% VAT of £3.19. But as always, I would recommend buying direct from the developer when possible, so I've linked the RD Presets website in the description down below. So is this new Payware Airport worth it, and should you spend your hard-earned cash on it? It's certainly a vast improvement over what we are getting from the default Naples Airport. If you are planning some trips to Italy in the simulator, then absolutely give it a go. In my opinion, it's got lots of option in terms of types of flights you could plan from here. You could do some commercial passenger flights, cargo operations, helicopter tours, and business jet flights. Apart from some issues with duplicate apron lights and flickering ground textures in some places, I'd say it's a great airport add-on from the RD Presets team. Stay tuned to the channel because I will be taking a look at their earlier scenery release for Rotterdam Airport. That will come in the form of a before and after video showing you the main differences between the default and Payware add-on. If you have enjoyed this video, give it a massive like and please consider subscribing to the Practically Geek channel for more flight simulator and aviation content just like this. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again very soon. Okay, it does have the same pattern of generic Asobo car models on each level, but doesn't the Ferrarel, I can't say it. Ferrarel.